I don't have any two dots either, Yaakov. I don't know.
We're old school. We're old school, me and you. We're old school. That's
yeah,
where it goes.
2 dots right away. Yeah.
You have a 2 dots, Rabbeinu?
No, we're up to Ravashi.
No 2 dots.
Okay, by Rabashi, yes, parrots.
If parrots would give me a schnapps, then I would have 2 dots.
You might have a lot more than 2 dots.
Okay. No, I don't.
He's saying the 2 dots after the sign? No, definitely
no. No, Rabashi, like you said. No.
Rabashi, I'm up to Rabashi, without exactly Rabashi.
All right, so let's go, yeah? So Ravashi, so this is again the middle of the sugya. We really should have stopped by Aaron Kaplan's 2 dots, right? But, anyway, so we're discussing the whole sugya of P-Tikra, right? That you say, if you don't, even if you have no walls, then according to some shittas, you'd be able to say P-Tikra, which is P-Tikra Yard B'Saisin. That's the edge of the beam. We look at it like it goes down, and we look at it as if there's a wall there, a virtual wall that goes down. Right? So then the Gemara goes back to the sugya where there's a Machlokes, whether you say P-Tikra, but what's a Talian? Also not Talian, but if you have these columns on the side of the sukkah with lavud, so that, according to everybody, would be a kosher sukkah. So let's see. Ravashi Hashkel of Kahana. Ravashi found Rav Kahana the Kamsach al Gabi Achsadros Shein Laptzim. He was putting schach on top of an achsadra that had no columns, which means that he held a P-Tikra. So there were no columns. Again, the achsadra is this porch that goes around the yard, right? And it's more than 4 amas away from the wall. The porch juts out more than 4 amas away from the wall. And if there's no columns there, so where's your wall? So Elamai, he says, P-Tikra, Yored B'Saisim. So therefore, that's your wall. So that if it has columns, it's kosher. If it doesn't have columns, then it's psal. So meaning that he doesn't hold the P-Tikra. So he showed him there were columns there. If you're sitting inside the sukkah, you'll see the columns. On the outside of the sukkah, you don't see them. Right? As the diagram says. Which is a girsa issue here because it can't be both. I mean, it's one or the other. However, they seem to be saying opposites of each other. But whatever it is, on the outside you could see it, but on the inside you can't. Either way, that's why he thought there were no columns there, but there really were columns there. So when you have what do you call it? Here, I'll just do where's the picture again?
Jacob, I posted it late, but I posted it.
Posted it?
Yeah.
If the island's looking there, this doesn't have. This article doesn't have. Here, just basically this, in case somebody didn't look. So that's a mavui. So it either has a lechi or a koyer, but you see that lechi is not visible from the people standing inside the street. It's only visible to the people outside. Right? So the Gemara says, it does get the status of a lechi. The lechi hainu petzimin, and a lechi is petzimin. That's a column. A lechi is the same thing as a column, right? So therefore, it's considered like it has a petzimin. Fine. Okay. The end of that sugya of P-Tikra. Now we get to a little easier sugya. Yeah, so Tana, we learned Psal yotzim in a sukkah nidam kasukah. If you have Psal, right, we had this a few blot ago. If you have Psal, which is another word for schach, that goes out from the sukkah, has the same status of a sukkah. Gemara says, what exactly is my Psal yotzim in a sukkah? What exactly is Psal that goes out of the sukkah? Amar Ula.
Why does the Gemara call it Psal? Is there any reason as opposed to schach or whatever?
That's what it is.
That's cool.
It's all the leftovers from your harvesting.
So that's what they mean. That's the connection.
Yeah. It's the psal. It's like the psilus.
Yeah. Okay. Psilus. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. We're right under the picture. Tana psal yotzim sukkah. Right under the picture. On Yud Tes Amud Aleph. Yeah. So Tana psal yotzim sukkah nidim b'sukkah. The psal that goes out in the sukkah gets the same status as sukkah. So Gemara is going to go through exactly what is this. My psal yotzim. What is psal that goes out in the sukkah? Amarula kanim hayotzim la'charei sukkah. It's reeds that go out from the back of the sukkah. Meaning, it sounds like sometimes when you put up your schach. So sometimes let's go with bamboo or a mat, either one. Sometimes the schach overlaps the wall. So if you're standing outside the sukkah, you see some schach, you see a few inches.
You have 12 footers and you have 8-foot sukkah.
Correct. Yeah. So right, a 12-foot bamboo, and your sukkah is only 8 feet wide. So you're going to have schach coming out of the other side. So that the Gemara is thinking. The Gemara says that's kosher. What do you mean? How could that be kosher? You need 3 walls. So we say b'diika, somewhere where there's 3 walls. Okay, but in hechsher sukkah, you need at least the minimum measurements of a sukkah, which is 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim. So it says b'diika. Yeah, okay. You need more shade than sun. B'diika. Okay, so Gemara says, what's the big deal? Right? You got yourself 3 walls. Right? You got yourself 3 walls. Schach, the whole deal. What's the chiddush? Well, it says the same. Since the walls, this wall, meaning you're sharing a middle wall, that's what comes out. According to this, you basically have 2 sukkahs sharing a middle wall. So Gemara says, no matter the same. Since this wall is meant for the inside, meaning of the main part of the sukkah, and it's not meant to go towards the outside. So you would say maybe that wall doesn't work.
Why
not? Right?
Why not? I should say that the bamboo wall is an inch thick. So here the first half is inches this way, and the second half inches this way. They just happen to be attached to each other, the 2 halves.
This thing.
What?
Is it me?
Can a person be at center for 2 minyanim at the same time?
You froze.
That's what happens when we start on time, see?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Byron. I'm hoping parents heard that. For all he complains about my kashas.
Oh, are you back? You're muted.
Okay, I'm back on with a different device. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that.
See, Yaakov, because I don't know if you need that, whatever. Can you be at center for 2 minyanim at the same time? You're standing between two rooms. Each one has 9 fellas, and you're in the doorway.
I hear. So you want to say that the middle wall?
Yeah, half of it's in one sukkah, and half of it in the other side is in the other sukkah. Well,
Rabbi, I just want to say that if you have such shilas, you should ask me and Peretz, because we would advise based on who has a better kiddush. That's who you should be mitzaref with.
I hear.
I'm trying to help the fellas who don't have the better kiddush. Chachamim, they should be able to daven.
I hear.
It's bad enough they don't have a good kiddush. Let them at least daven.
Mama should ask him. Look at you.
How can you daven without a good kiddush?
Very, 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 very. And Cleveland talks about New York. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why, Taki, you can't split the wall. I hear. I mean,
yeah, it's push it.
Tais is a different kasha. We had this Havamina a couple of blot ago that maybe it's only meant for the inside, not the outside. We said, no, we don't care. So what's the Havamina here all of a sudden? Right? We did have this previous. Whatever it is, Kamashwan, the Chiddush is that even though there's a shared wall of the sukkah, the middle wall is shared from the sukkah, we're still fine with it.
How does he learn Itztaba? When the Itztaba was in the middle of the sukkah, outside the Itztaba was kosher because of Psal yosef.
Right, so the Gemara
then
asked,
you don't have Hechsher Sukkah.
Didn't the Gemara ask that?
No, that was the answer, Psal yosef. The Gemara didn't ask on it, I don't think.
No, but the Gemara asked that the walls are meant for the inside, not the outside.
No, I'm saying besides for that. With the Itztaba, here the Gemara says that I need everything right. I need schach, I need walls, I need Hechsher Sukkah, the right size. There you don't have the right size. That's what he built the Itztaba for. But nevertheless, outside of the Itztaba, it's still kosher because of Psal yosef. But it's too tall. It's more than 20 amas.
Okay, Gemara, Tosis says, right? Yeah, the Gemara Yudzayin Amadal. You would think that the mechitzas are made for the outside, and here they're being made for the inside. So we already learned that chiddush, right? Okay, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Anyways, that's the first case of Psal. Yeah, now the Gemara says another case. Here we're talking about konim that go outside of the sukkah. And what happens is one wall gets extended. So basically, you have your regular size sukkah. And then you have one wall that gets extended. So Mao the same holes by hechsher sukkah. That's no hechsher sukkah. That's still considered a hechsher sukkah. So it's an extension, meaning the extension of the sukkah does not have three walls. Basically, you have your regular standard sukkah, 3-wall sukkah. Then one wall goes out much further. So that if you sit over there on that end, you only have 2 walls to your sukkah. You're missing a third wall. So Gemara says that you would be yaitza that way, because that's Sala yaitza in a sukkah, even though at that point there's only 2 walls. That's the second shot. So we're talking about a sukkah that has mostly shade and sun. So one little part of the sukkah has more sun than shade. Mao the same with the Psal. So you would think that little piece would make it Psal. Kamash Malon, that it's not. Kamash Malon, that little piece you look at the entire sukkah, and you don't look at only that part of the sukkah. Yeah? So when I say my yaitza, but it says Psal ha-yaitza min ha-sukkah. So what's yaitza? Yaitza. What? Okay, so it means it goes with the it goes with the. It means that that it's a kosher sukkah. Fourth shot. Yeah.
Sviakov, you're muted. It's not you're muted. You're cutting in and out like crazy. It's rough tonight.
I don't know what's going on. I'm connected to Wi-Fi.
I used to have the same kind of. I was connected to Wi-Fi and still cut out.
let me try and go back to a different device.
Gershi.
Yeah.
It's because you set it up yourself, though. He's at camp. Someone professional, quote unquote professional, set it up.
All right, are we back on now? Working?
So far, so good.
Yeah. Great minds think alike, Gershi.
Let me know. Okay, so I apologize. Now this is where this is actually has an important din in Lacha L'Maisa. Rashi says, well, what do we mean by Psal yosef in a sukkah? We're talking about schach pasel less than 3 tefachim in a sukkah, in a small sukkah, meaning a sukkah 7 by 7, right? And this Psal. Not again. We said that the measurements for schach pasel is empty schach, air is 4 tefachim, 3 tefachim. Schach pasel is 4 tefachim. Now the Gemara is saying we're talking about where there was schach pasel in a sukkah by 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim, and there was 3 tefachim of schach pasel. So that's what we're saying means that the sukkah is still kosher, right? So Gemara says, "My yosef." What does it mean? Psal ha yosef in a sukkah. So the same pshat that we said, yosef mitayra sukkah, it goes out from the regular dinam of sukkah, right? Meaning because it's even though part of the sukkah is schach pasel, still considered kosher. Yeah. So the maskefla Rav Hoshi has the kasha on this. Lo ye'ela avir. It shouldn't be any different than avir. But avir pachas v'shloisha tefachim. The sukkah katana mi pasel. Is it pasel? I mean, what's your chiddush that you have schach pasel in the middle of sukkah? It can't be any worse. Schach pasel can't be any worse than air. And air we know is less than 3 tefachim. So why should schach pasel be a problem of less than 3 tefachim? Amalei Rabbi Abba. Zemit star of Yishenim Tachtov. What happens is this one combines, meaning schach pasel will be mitzdarif with kosher schach, and you're even allowed to sleep under it. The zemit starif be'ein Yishenim Tachtov, but air is going to be mitzdarif that you can to make a kosher sukkah, but you're not allowed to sleep under it. All right, so basically what the Gemara is saying is that when you have schach pasel 3 tefachim in a sukkah that's 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim, so that schach pasel will combine to the schach kosher. You have a kosher sukkah, and you're allowed to sleep under it. But if it would be air, the air would combine with the other schach to make a kosher sukkah, but you're not allowed to sleep under it. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, so the question is why? Why can't you sleep under it?
We just said it's kosher as a kosher sukkah.
It's a kosher sukkah, but you can't sleep under it. Right?
And how about my toesies? I mean, can they be under it?
Oh, so that's the question. Does that so basically and we mentioned it yesterday, is that this is what we come out with, that if you have a space going across the entire sukkah, even if it's less than 3 tefachim, which is what the Gemara is saying here, you're not allowed to sleep under it. Your sukkah will be kosher, you're not allowed to sleep under it. So what percent of your body has to be under it? Right? And what about eating? Well, it's not clear in the paskened. But one thing that it seems to be is that if you have an empty space going across your sukkah, the entire length of the sukkah, even less than 3 tefachim, the sukkah is going to be, you can't sit under that. You can't sit under that space. Right? So which is what we said yesterday, that the paskened say, make sure you put a bamboo across the sukkah, right? So that there is no space going. Make sure you always put one bamboo parallel to your schach, or bamboo, whatever, piece of wood, 2x4, whatever you want to do. Perpendicular. Put it perpendicular to the schach. Like this, you'll never have an empty space going across your sukkah in its entirety. So it's an important thing, but that's what comes out from this Gemara. Fine. So let's see weiter. So again, the Gemara is saying that you could have air that combines, air that could be pasel if it's bigger than 3 tefachim, but it combines with the schach kosher to make the sukkah kosher, right? But you're not allowed to sleep under it. So
Can you
Gemara
eat under it?
Eat under it, or you can't eat under it either. The reason why in the Mishna we say the reason why sleep is because sleep, even a shina sarai is not allowed. So Gemara asks, is it possible to have something that could combine to make something kosher, but it itself is not kosher? Right? Is that even possible? So Rav Yitzchak ben Elyashiv, yes, we could have that, because you can have tit tit that gets poured can prove it. It could combine to make a mikva 40 saw. And somebody who tovels in it the tefillah is not going to work. Meaning, so this is talking about a case where we know that you need memsa of water in order to be a kosher mikva. Right? Can you use mud that's pourable to combine to the 40 saw? So the Gemara says, yes, you can. Okay, so that means if you can combine it to the water for 40 saw, that means, let's say I have a mikvah, 40 saw of wet mud. Does that work? Well, it says, no, that does not work. You need to have water. So here you see there's precedence of a case where the thing itself is tameh. If not tameh, is no good, but when you combine it with something else, it becomes good. Right? So that would be the same thing. Yeah? Okay, so that's the end of that sugya. So the Mishna, if you make a sukkah like a tzrif, so a tzrif is like some sort of hunter's, how do you call it? Hunter's tent. It's
a duck blind.
Duck blind.
Yeah.
I hear. So whatever it is, it's like this thing of trees, of branches. We had it once before, right? That you hide under it. So, but it doesn't really have a roof. So that's one case. Or you just lean the schach against the wall. Basically, make a lean-to. Right? It doesn't really have a roof. It's diagonally leaning. I imagine the pictures that aren't posted are all good. Right? So Rabbi Eliezer Psal, Rabbi Eliezer says it's Psal because it doesn't have a roof. There's no roof there. In both cases, the chachamim say that it's kosher. Yeah, so Zog the Gemara Tanam. Yeah.
Isn't Rabbi Eliezer the one who made us do crazy calculations in Erevin with the angle? If it's Daled Amos wide, less than Daled Tefachim wide, less than 3 Tefachim from the point.
I don't remember. Was it him?
I don't know. I think so.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. And here he says, Ein Lagag. There it was called a Gag because if you go a certain amount down with a cross.
Right. Yeah. I hear. I don't know. I don't remember. So anyway, so Tana Maidu Rabbi Eliezer Shim Hegviyam in a karka tefach. If you lifted up these things off the ground by a tefach, either the diagonal or this what do you call it, a duck blind? Right? That's one. Or you separated it from the wall by a tefach. Shehi kshera, that it's kosher. Right? Why? Because once it has a tefach, so we know that an oil has to have at least the minimum width of a tefach. So once you have the width of a tefach, then the rest of it will be considered like a wall, and therefore it's going to be okay. Right? So meaning as long as you make this thing have a tefach, then it's going to have, well, in the case of the hut, it's going to make it as a roof. In the case of the leaning thing, so you're going to have one tefach of space. It's interesting, is Machlokes Rashi Taisus here, that it's only according to Rabbi Eliezer where you take, again, you have it leaning. Right, let's say this is the wall. If you can see it. Right, you have the wall, this is the wall, and then you have the wall of the house, and then you have this leaning thing. So we said that that's no good according to Rabbi Eliezer because this doesn't have a roof. So now what we're saying is that if you move it this much away, where there's at least a tefach of space from the top of that schach to the wall, then it's okay. So Rashi says it's air. It's air, and we say lavud. It's air, and you say lavud. Right? According to Taisus, no, it's not, air doesn't work. Air cannot make, lavud cannot make an oil. You'd have to actually put it under. You'd have to put something there so that there's actually something under it. Yeah?
Does it matter if the schach has to go above that piece of wood, or can it directly
Oh, I don't know. The chayra doesn't have to be above as long as there's a tefach there and it's connected. I think that
say
it's okay.
Somewhere in this daf, don't we say somewhere in this daf that if the schach is above the wood, it's one thing, but if it's flush against the wood, it's
so yesterday with P tikra, we said the P tikra you have to see the edges, right? But here you wouldn't be going with P tikra. Here it's just an oil. Yeah, but anyway, so that's what he's making. So now my tamayo to Rabbanon. What's the reason for the Rabbanon? Meaning, why the Rabbanon say that it's kosher? Because they hold that a tent on an angle is considered a tent. Fine. Okay, that's the reason for the Rabbanon. Now, obviously, Rabbi Eliezer hold that it's something leaning like that is not. So Abaya Ashkel Rabbi Yosef the Kagani Bekilas Chasana B'Sukkah. Abaya found Rabbi Yosef that he was sleeping in a kilas chasanim in a sukkah. Remember what kilas chasanim was? That was like what do we call it? A canopy over the bed. But it had two poles in the middle of the bed, and that created a canopy. Right? So he
wasn't
slept
a kilas chasanim raised the tefach? The regular kila was straight from the bed, and the kilas chasanim was raised the tefach?
Yes, I think so.
Right. Okay.
But it didn't have a roof of a tefach. The point is the kilas chasanim is pointy. So it's a triangle. So there's no tefach there. So the reason why
but there's a tefach from the floor, though.
Yes. Yeah.
So that would
well,
fit.
it's not from the bed.
Way,
not from the bed. The chayra not from the bed. The floor, yes, not from the bed. Right? So why was Rabbi Yosef sleeping in it? Must be he held that that's not a kosher. It's not considered a tent. Since it's not considered a tent, as if he's sleeping in the sukkah, even though he's really sleeping under a tent in the sukkah. If that tent is not a kosher tent, then it's as if he's sleeping in the sukkah. So Amalei Kiman, who are you going like? Rabbi Eliezer? You're going like Rabbi Eliezer, who says that anything on a slant is not considered a roof. So Gemara asks, Shavak the Rabbanon, Vavadak Rabbi Eliezer, you left the Rabbanon, you did like Rabbi Eliezer, you're going with the Yachid over the Rabbim. You have to pass like the Rabbanon. Amarle, braysa if fatani. I learned the braysa the opposite. The Rabbi Eliezer Masha with chachamim paskened. So really, I do mean to pasken that it's kosher, like the chachamim, but it just happens to be. I'm sorry. I pass like chachamim, so it's possible, right? It's not Rabbi Eliezer, it's the chachamim. So then he asks, Shavakta Masnisa Vavada Gabraysa. You're leaving a Mishna and you're doing like a braysa. We know that the Mishna is much more accurate than a braysa. So he said to him, Masnisan Yichidahi. It's a Mishnah it's a Yichidah. The Mishnah is a Das Yochid. The Tanya is a Sukkah, Kimitzrif. If you made your sukkah like this hut, Aisha Samcha Lakaisel, or you lean on a Kaisel, Reb Nassan Aimer, Reb Nassan says, Reb Eliezer Paisel. It's Reb Nassan who says that Reb Eliezer says, Pasal Meshain Logag. So it's only according to Reb Nassan that Reb Eliezer says pasal. Everybody else says it was the chachamim who said pasal. So that's what Reb Yosef is paskening like the majority who said that it was the chachamim who said pasal, not Reb Eliezer. So therefore, he's not paskening like the yoch. He's paskening like the rabbi.
Peretz, these 5 lines were for you.
It's not exactly Peretz's thing, but yeah, it's close enough. Close enough. Okay, now we start with the math.
Is this a very lamdish rabbim, or how do we answer the kasha? The kasha was he's going like the braysa against the Mishnah. Teretz says he has another braysa which says the Mishnah is a das yachid.
Right.
But the Mishnah doesn't say it's a das yachid.
Oh, so he's telling you it's a das yachid.
Yeah,
because he has a right from a braysa. He's ultimately still doing the same thing. He's going like a braysa over a Mishnah.
No, because it seems like the Mishna is a das yachid, so therefore it's not right. But yes, you're right. We're giving credence to the braysa that says that the Mishna is a das yachid, right? But it seems like he has what to back it up. I guess it's saying. He's got two. He's got a braysa that says it's the chachamim.
So that's what I was asking. Is it because it's 2 braysas, or because he has a braysa that's explaining the Mishnah that goes the same way?
Sounds like he has both.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
okay,
I'm saying Does that mean that 2 braysas is more powerful than 1 Mishnah?
That's what it's. I don't know if you could say it in all cases. I don't know, but certainly here, because here that it's backing him up.
Well, because it's explaining the Mishnah, so there's no kasha anymore. It's not arguing with the Mishnah. The first braysa was arguing with the Mishnah. This one's explaining it.
Yep. Okay, so let's see the next Mishnah. Machzeles, right? So we get into the reeds here. So the mats. Machzeles konim gedoyla asal l'shchiva mekabelas tuma. So if you have a mat made out of reeds, so if it's big, so then it depends. If he was made for laying down on it, meaning it was made as a mattress, mekabelas tuma, then it's mekabel tuma, and we know that anything that you mekabel tuma, you can't use as schach. You can't be mesach the sikoch, but if you make the large mat for schach, mesach and it's not going to be makabel tuma, right? This is the first step of understanding this whole sugya, or whether you're allowed to use mats for kosher schach or not. The first thing has to be is that the mats have to be made l'shem schach, not l'shem sleeping or l'shem fences or l'shem anything that's going to be a kli.
Aren't these mats machine made? Like I'm saying, they're not hand done.
Doesn't make a difference as long as it depends what the kavanah was.
Person turning the machine on, you mean?
No. Not it doesn't need lishma. It just needs to be, once it's made into a utensil, right? Then it becomes makabel tumah. So let's say you walk into a Home Depot and you see a nice mat that was meant to be a window shade.
Fences, those that wicker fences, whatever.
Right. So then you say, let me use that for schach. It's wood, it's made out of bamboo, whatever, it's fine. No, it doesn't work because since it was made as a kli, it has the status of a kli.
But the ones that are labeled for schach, you could assume they were made for the schach.
Right, exactly.
So how does the CRC get around that?
How does the CRC get around it with using? We're saying, and the Star K was saying that you could buy a certain type of model.
Yeah.
So they only use specific models. I don't remember exactly how they use
Hampton Bay reeds, the 6x16. I know exactly which one it is, but it's made for fencing. If on the package it says reed fencing.
Right. So what I think they say to do is if you take the schach.
No, but I'm not talking about that. I'm saying it's made as a reed fence. It's not made as schach. How do they get around that one piece of it?
I think the way they get around it is that they say that you put it perpendicular to the wood, and then memela, you don't need the strings that make the mat tameh, right? Because it'll rest on your schach anyways, and therefore it's okay. But I don't know why then dafka those two. I don't know.
What Icky's saying is that if you're talking about that they have to have in mind that it's used for schach and not a utensil, it's made for a fence.
I understand, but if you're not really utilizing the mat part of it, then maybe it's not a problem. I'm sure somebody can.
You're saying because they ignore the strings, that also means they're ignoring the way that they made it?
You're not using it in the normal function of a fence.
It doesn't make a difference. We just went over that if the point was to be a fence, you can't use it.
Yeah.
Is it possible that fencing is not a kli? A fence is a kli.
What are you saying?
Something that's made as a blind, a window shade. A window shade is a window shade. It doesn't matter if it's up or not. Something that's made as fencing, it's not a fence by itself. It's just a piece of a fence. It's not a kli.
If that's not a kli, fence is not a kli.
I don't know. Maybe I'm asking, is it possible?
Yeah, there was that whole thing where Home Depot a few years ago came out with that whole thing to make your yard fancy, and people were getting it and being told that they can't use it for schach.
Well, it seems it's a machlokes. I'm just asking if it's possible that the CRC, the Star K, view a fence as a kli. A piece of fencing is a part of a kli. It's not a kli.
And if I have a small sukkah, so it is a kli.
No. If you have a small yard, As a fence. The fence is the kli. The schach isn't the kli.
Making the actual fence is a kli, not the.
Yaakov, would it make a difference if it's like a multi-purpose item? Meaning, like, yeah, you can use it as a fence, and yeah, you can use it as a blind on an outdoor window, and yeah, you can use it as schach and all. Would that make a difference then?
Again, what are you doing with it?
These mats, I've seen them used as fencing. I've seen them used as like a blind outside and like an outdoor.
The Colombos use it to carry out bodies. They stopped using carpets. They use these fences.
It's true. It's too fragile to use as a mat. There's no question.
Yeah. Like I've seen them like
these are not mats. You can't use it as a mat.
It's like a sun blind against the like an outdoor what do you call them? Where you sit outdoors, whatever. They use it for all sorts of different things. What difference does it make? If would it make a difference if it's only used for one thing, or can you use it if it's multi-purpose? Does it make a difference then? Because I don't know.
I know it seems like if it's makabel, if you plan on using it as a kli, then it's makabel tumah.
Yeah, but what's it made as? I think he's asking if it's made as just a bunch of reeds tied together that you can do what you want with. Then the making of it was not made as a kli. It was made for you to turn it into whatever you want to. Is the ikr that it has to be made for schach, or that it can't be made as a kli?
I think can't be made as a kli.
So then as long as it's not made as a kli.
It's his.
Right, 100%. That's what I was trying to get to.
So stark.
If it's not made as a
I just sent I was looking up on the CRC. You see what I just sent you?
I didn't get it. I don't know.
Hey, CRC tweeted out in 29 Sukkah a year and a half or whatever, 2 years ago. In short, the CRC no longer recommends fencing material from Home Depot as schach. So
they no longer recommend it?
That's what I copied and pasted. I just texted.
Yeah, but for what reason?
We have found a reasonable chance that this may result in non-kosher schach. We suggest traditional schach materials, e.g. bamboo poles, tree branches, mats specifically certified for sukkah use. They don't say why. Oh, look.
Wow. Okay, so they changed their mind. But the star case says it's okay because if they hold that the plastic fishing line that holds the mats together can't be makabel tumah because it's not woven. Which Elio Ikovic, another shameless plug, gets into your bigadim tachtainim that they wanted for your mikva.
The guy says he's sending me a case of them.
There you go. But anyways, so it's not spun. They told it's not spun. I see. So CRC
maybe you could use that whole case for your schach.
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, that one won't make it into the news as orthodox.
No,
yeah.
Not at all.
Okay.
Aaron, those conversations we save for the morning show. So.
Okay, fine, very good.
Where's Avi Suntag when we need him? Anyway, okay. So, but the main point that has to be figured out is all these mats, if they're made for kalim, then there's no good, which is exactly this whole machlokes in the Mishna, which is going to carry us for the next Amud or so. So again, Zog the Mishna, Machzelas Konim Gedoyla. Machzelas Konim, you have a mat made out of reeds. Gedoyla, so if it's a large one, Asal l'shchiva, if it's meant to be laid down on Mekabelas Tumah, it's Mekabel Tumah. Bein Mesachimon, you're not Mesachich. The stikach, but if it's made for schach, Mesachim, then you do use it for schach. Bein Mekabel Tumah is not Mekabel Tumah. That's a Tanakam. Eliezer Omer, it's a little cryptic exactly what the Machlokes is here. Eliezer Omer, Achas Katana v'Achas Gedoyla, whether it's large, whether it's small, Asal l'shchiva Mekabelas Tumah. If it's meant for laying down, it's Mekabel Tumah, Bein Mesachim, and you're not Mesachim with it. The stikach, if it's meant for schach, then you Mesachim ba ve'ein mekabel tumah, and it's not mekabel tumah. So basically, Tanakam and Rebbe Eliezer are both saying the same thing. If it's meant for sleeping, it's no good. If it's meant for schach, it is good, right? So that's what the Gemara is going to try and figure out exactly what is the machlokes between them. But before that, the Gemara first has a different kasha, right? Haku for kasha. The whole Mishnah is a kasha. Amrit, and you said in the first line of the Mishnah, asal l'shchiva, if it's meant for sleeping, mekabelas tuma, it's mekabel tuma vein mesachim ba, right? So timer, what's the reason? The asal l'shchiva. The reason that's possible is because you made it for sleeping. Hastama l'sika, but that sounds like the default is that mats are meant for schach, unless otherwise noted, and you decided to make it for sleeping. But then it says l'sika, if it's meant for schach, mesachim ba. It's Mesava and Tuma, and it's not Makabel Tuma. Timer das l'sikuch. The reason is because you made it for schach. Hastama l'shchiva. It's mashma that the default is shchiva. So we have a stira from the first line of Mishnah to the second line of Mishnah. First line of Mishnah sounds like the default is for schach. The second line of the Mishnah sounds like the default is for laying down. So the Gemara says, no, one is talking about a large mat and one is talking about a small mat. A large mat is the assumption is it's for schach, because why somebody needs such a large mat in order to sleep on? You just have your I guess they didn't have king size mats back then. I don't know, right? But a regular person to lay down on needs a small mat. A large mat, the assumption was for schach. A small mat, the assumption is for a bed. What are you saying?
I'm still very confused. A kosher sukkah is 7 tefachim.
Correct.
7 tefachim by 7 tefachim. Try to lay down in 7 tefachim by 7 tefachim.
And a chanami, but that would be for a small. That would be a small mat, but a large mat, the assumption would be, you're right. And a chanami would be so small, then it would be, it would be considered for a bed. But a large mat would be a better. I imagine it's bigger than 7 by 7 large mat. Right, so that default for that is that there for schach. So Gemara says, Rabbi Eliezer, the problem is we have the same stira in what Rabbi Eliezer says. Rabbi Eliezer, achas ketana, achas gedola, whether it's a large mat or whether it's a small mat or a large mat, asal l'shkiva, if it's meant for sleeping, mikabel tumah, it's mikabel tumah. You're not mesachim with the time of the asal l'shchiva. The reason why is because it's meant for sleeping. Hastama l'sikuch. That means sounds like the default is for schach. Ema seifa, say the seifa asal l'sikuch mesachim. If it's meant for schach, then you mesachim with it. Ve'ena makabel tumah, it's not makabel tumah. Time of the asal l'sikuch. The reason is because you made it for schach. Hastama, the stama is for the shchiva. So again, the same stira. Sorry, the same stira, right? It's the same stira, and this one you can't say a teretz that there's the one is talking about a large mat, one's talking about a small mat, because Rabbi Eliezer says he doesn't care whether it's large or small. It's all totally in what your kavanah is. So we have to go on to a different teretz. If it's a large mat, everybody holds it. That's for schach. So what's a machlokes Tanakam Rabbi Eliezer? Ki pligi. The katana, the machlokes is by a small mat. Tanakam is over stam katana l'shchiva. The default of a small mat is meant for laying down. Rabbi Eliezer is over stam katana nami l'siko. Rabbi Eliezer says no, even a small mat is meant for schach. Right? Okay. And this is how you have to say it. Machzeles hakonim. This is where you have to learn the Mishna. Machzeles hakonim gedoylo. If you have a reed. A mat made out of reeds, that's large. Asal l'shchiva. If it's meant for sleeping, mekabelas tumah, it's mekabel tumah vein. You can't use it for schach. Time with asal l'shchiva. That's only because you made it with kavana for sleeping. Hastama. But if you made a mat, nasa can be shasal l'sikuch. It's made for schach, and mesachama, you're mesach with it. Right? V'asa Rabbi Eliezer, we skip the parentheses. V'asa Rabbi Eliezer. Whether it's big, whether it's small, stomach, kosher l'sikuch. If it's stam, a mat that it's made for schach. We have to go a little bit weiter to finish this. So basically, so we're saying that they're having a machlokes what the default is by a small mat. So then Amar le Abaye ihachi, a very interesting kasha Abaye has. Ihachi Rabbi Eliezer Omer achas ketana v'achas gedola. He says in the Mishnah whether it's small, whether it's large. He should have really said achas gedola v'achas ketana biboile. He should have switched the terminology. Instead of saying that if it's whether it's a small mat or whether it's a large mat, he should have said the simpler case first, which is the gedola, is always for schach. And if the katana is also for schach, then it's also not makabel tumah. Meaning, why would he go with the chiddush first, which is the katana? Right? We said the katana, the default would be for laying down. The eliezer is saying no, he doesn't care as long as whatever the kavanah is. It's fine. And another kasha, keep pligi b'gedola who the pligi. We're saying the whole Machlokes is by a larger and eliezer l'chumra and eliezer l'chumya, right? We know the eliezer l'chumra the Tanya machzeles hakanim a mat of reeds b'gedola misachim. But if it's large, you're misachim with it. Rabbi Eliezer says im einam mekabelas tuma misachim ba. Rabbi Eliezer says if it's not mekabel tuma, then misachim ba. So you see that Rabbi Eliezer is the machmer. Right? And Rava says that Rabbi Eliezer is the makel. So now the Gemara changes and says, Elamar apapa b'katana kuli amalei pligi the stamel l'shchiva. By a small one, everybody holds that it's for shchiva, and it's no good. So a small mat is no good. Keep pligi b'gedola. Where's the machlokes? By the large mat. Tanakama sava stam gedola l'sikum. The Tanakama holds that a stam, every average large mat is meant for schach. Eliezer sava stam gedola nami l'shchiva. And he says that a large mat is meant for shchiva. Maya saw l'shchiva. The Kamar. What does it mean that if it's made for laying down? Stam asiyasa nami l'shchiva ad ovid l'sikum. That the stam asiya of making a large mat, right, is meant for sleeping until you make it for schach. So basically, when Rabbi Eliezer says asal l'shchiva, he says that the default is meant for sleeping. But if theoretically you made a large mat and had in mind that it's going to be for schach, then it's going to be okay. So it comes out that Rabbi Eliezer is really he's the machmer because he holds that a stam large mat is also meant for sleeping, unless otherwise noted. Okay, it was a little confusing there, but that's basically bottom line is what we could take out from the halacha l'maisa from this is that if you don't know that the mat is made, bisman hazeh for sure, if you don't know that mat is made for schach, then you cannot use the mat. That's all. That's what comes out. Unless you do what the star case says, which is they say the mats can't be makabel tumah because there's nothing woven in it. Yeah. All right. Tomorrow night,
according to this, why are the people that are against mats? If they're made for schach, this should be muhudder.
Oh, so there's a different issue. You're right, 100%. If it's made, you mean the fruma companies?
Right. Why the fruma makbid not to use it?
Oh, so the fruma, you know, somebody related to you that's makbid? I don't know.
Yaakov, I'm not trying to drag in the mud here. You know what I mean?
It's okay. So one of the reasons is because there's a rashba that the yosef brings, who says that a mat has the din of a kaira, like we've been learning. It's too big. It's looked at like a kaira. Remember we said that schach can't be wider than 4 toes. They say since it's all tied together, we don't pasken like this. We don't pasken like this.
But they want to say why you don't roll up. You can't roll up. And a 2-foot thing.
Nobody's going to say that you asked it. Nobody. The main issue with the schach mats was that they were not meant for schach. That was the biggest issue. Nobody's going to say. Nobody's going to say the schach mat.
Yaakov, we just said if it's made for the shem schach, then let's not the. So what's the reason to say no?
It is 100%. That the main issue is the Kabbalah Tumah issue. If they make it the shem schach, it's no problem. Just the machmirim, of which Rabbi Yasha was one of them, says that since they're all tied together, that's considered like a big schach. It's not considered an individual schach. So it's a kaira, so then memela, or it's wider. So memela you shouldn't use it. But we don't.
Or maybe they're saying like, well, we had a bunch of dafin ago that's a bundle, and that's why it's not okay.
How do you? Yeah. How do you?
Those that say that too.
You roll up your roof at night.
But he's being he's being choshish for a Rashba. What's wrong with that? Rabbi Yashin, he was a big man enough. If you want to be choshish for that Rashba, he could do it.
Yes, 100%.
So
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if the mat's a lechatchila, then why would somebody say it's better to have a bamboo pole?
No, because it is Rashba. That's all. Because it is Rashba. That's the main point is this Rashba. That's it. Which others are going to say, Aaron, what? All of a sudden we're choshish for every Rashba?
No.
Right? That's the other time, which I think I can't speak for Rabbi Yashuv. I don't think Rabbi Yashuv would tell you that you're not allowed to eat it. If you're stuck with a sukkah, I don't think he would tassel the sukkah. He's just saying, lechatchila, why should you get mats? Get bamboo. That's all. That's all. I can't speak for sure, but that's what I would think. Meaning, I personally have bamboo. Would I eat in a sukkah that has kosher mats? 100%. 100%. You can't say it's puzzle. You can only say it's puzzle if you're using ones from Home Depot that are makabel tumah, like our Gemara. That's really what comes out.
And how does the Rashba teach our Mishna? What is a machzelas?
Why don't you look in the Rashba?
Yeah, I don't have a Rashba. That's why I'm asking.
No, he's asking very good. He's asking.
I'm rephrasing the same question.
Right. He's asking very good.
What?
Yeah, look at the Beis Yosef in the Beis Yosef brings it in this simon.
Oh, okay, fine.
I haven't looked at it in a while, but he brings it in this simon.
If a yid buys one of these things,
what are you saying?
If a yid buys one of these things and adjusts it a little bit and then sells it to another yid, would that have the same din like other kalim?
You're talking about titling it? You have to title it, so you take it apart. There we go. Where's Marchuk?
Yeah, I haven't seen Marchuk talk in a while. What do you call it? I hear Jesse. Meaning Jesse saying take it apart a shtickle, make it. You'd have to make it not usable though, Jesse, which I think would defeat the purpose.
So if you cut the string right in the middle,
was there yesterday. I think he was there today also.
It together again.
Where's something?
Have two half
I saw Marchuk for davening.
Well, not usable as it's
I think he was in share tonight.
Not usable.
He was in last night for sure.
Meaning I have bamboo window shades, right? So I wanted to use them as schach.
Right.
So, I mean,
you used them last year. We know you used them last
year. I know,
year.
so I'm saying, but they're not usable. They're not usable as shades anymore because I cut off the strings that would enable them to be shades. No, they don't raise the lower anymore.
But Byron, you're not invited to his house anymore for Yom Tif, okay? Stop it.
Yeah.
You know, when you go there, he'll shut the air conditioning.
Like the other
if he comes, I'll get bamboo, I promise.
Woo, there you go. Yeah.
Tzviako, but according to that shita, I would say that the mats are more of the chachila because bamboo poles are because people cut down trees. They're not cut down the same schach.
They don't have to be.
Doesn't have to be.
Oh.
Doesn't have to be because it can't become tummy. I thought you were gonna ask Aaron that the bamboos are hollow, so it's a cleat. So they should also become.
Right. A lot of them look like that wax.
We had that sugya with the arrows.
Right. A lot of them look like that wax.
There's holes in it.
Right. So anything natural is not gonna. If it's naturally has a cleat, that's not gonna be makabel tumah. So that's out. That's out.
But I don't understand. I thought it depends to Aaron's question. I thought it depends on how they make it.
How they make what?
They're not made.
No, I'm saying, but if it's cut down l'shem whatever, that doesn't matter.
Brian, a guy cut down because he was harvesting a forest. That's why he cut it down.
Right. So it's fine. It's fine.
Schach doesn't need to be cut l'shem. It's not tzitzis. It's not fill-in. Doesn't have to be done l'shem.
So then why does it need a hechsher, Tzviakov?
No, because a mat needs because a mat could be made as a window shade. Now what Uri is saying, I don't know. Just because it doesn't go up and down, does that mean it's not usable as a shade?
Hold on, but even better, it's bamboo, so it's not makabel tumah because naturally it's hollow.
Very good.
What? It's what?
It's a bamboo mat.
Bamboo is okay. It's a bamboo mat. So it's hollow on the inside. It's not makabel tumah.
No, but the problem, but you
stringing it together, you're making it into a cleat.
Who? I'm not making it into a cleat.
Not you, the person who made it.
By definition, it's now a cleat.
You'd have to unclee it. So technically you cut off all the strings.
You guys are too firm for me. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, we're very firm. But that seems to be the issue.
Yeah.
That seems to
just
be the
take
issue.
a look at us. We're very firm people here.
So Yuri, what you're asking, what Jesse wants to know, if you took a knife and cut off all the strings holding it together, now you have little thin pieces of bamboo, you could probably throw them onto your sukkah.
Why does that make it better, Perez?
No, what do you gain there? What do you gain? It's better. What do you gain?
I think apart the cleat aspect of it.
You don't gain anything, Naftali. You're right. You gain nothing.
I'm saying the whole point
he gains. He had window shades that stopped working, and now he has free bamboo. That's what he gained. He's a yid. You know what I mean?
You save some money. You save some money.
Well, actually, I just didn't like the window shade, so the way that I
1 second,
told
Yaakov,
it
but
to
then
my
he can
wife
say his
was that-
machshava is to turn them right back into
And
window
then
shades
after Sukkot, he could cut a few of them up and use them for Hanukkah lamp.
Yeah,
someone here asked.
I actually I have them in my garage, like just sitting there all rolled up with the other mats. So I didn't use them again for.
Someone asked you a few years ago if they could take 2x4s and cut the 2x4s in half and use that as schach. You told them the there's no problem with it.
Correct. Even 2x4s themselves.
But 2x4s, you said that 4 inches is too wide.
A 2x4 is 3.5 inches.
You're right. It's not 4 inches anymore.
I know. I'm saying I thought you.
Well, you should know better than anybody. What?
I do, but I thought you said the 3.5 is too wide.
Right. There are people that lechatchila use slats.
It's too wide. It could be up to 12 inches wide.
Okay.
But we don't do it because the Mishna Berurah brings. We discussed it on one of the dafs that the Mishna Berurah brings, because since that's the material we use for roofs nowadays, so memela, it's a problem.
Okay, so you told the guy to cut him in half, whatever the case was, but that was made meyuchet for studs in building material. So why?
No, but it's not makabel tumah. It's not makabel tumah. It's plain piece of wood. It has to meet in order for something to be makabel tumah, it has to meet the qualifications. Right? If it doesn't meet the qualifications of something, that's what the Star K is saying with the mats that are made out of fishing string. They say it's not woven, right? So since it's not woven, but it's
I would still be
not woven. In order for something plastic to be makabel tumah, it needs to be woven. Hence those begodim. Getting back to that, we're going there. Right?
No, I meant the 2x4s.
So you would sit under a 2x4 ripped in half sukkah. You would be fine lechatchila.
Only in Phoenix, because the whole
that's what I'm getting at. If I invite him over for sukkahs, I want to make sure he's going to eat in the sukkah.
1 second, Icky. Now that we're going there, what type of chalamoid is there this year? Let's talk. We can see if Spirit's having a deal.
Whatever, we'll have a good chalamoid.
He wants me to come for Shabbos in 3 weeks, and now he wants me to come for Sukkot. I don't know. Pick your battles, buddy.
He's not picking. He's not pushing you off. He wants you for both.
He got you a house over there.
True. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The house is really in your schach, so I'm not gonna.
Okay, I don't know about that, but anyway, so would I sit in the sukkah with even 2x4s? I think I would. Okay. Nikkaradin, it's okay.
Wait, I saw they came out with this new mat. Sorotskin used to come by me. He used to show it to me. They came out with a new mat with a bamboo poles, thin bamboo poles, tied together with also pieces of bamboo poles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made
bamboo strips. Yeah, but that stuff is like disposable because in Farakaway there is no way that schach is surviving. Phoenix might survive.
One rainstorm is done.
Yeah, it doesn't last more than a year or two.
Right.
Yeah, because that shows that it's legit. There's no easy way. You know what I mean? Bottom line is with no easy way in the religion.
No, the truth be told, the other schach only lasts a year or two anyways. It gets moldy too. Couple of years max.
Yeah. All right. So.
Okay, no, it's not worth $100-something to roll the thing out and roll it back up.
I'm saying, Paris, even with that, I'm a mindik also, Paris. Yes, we do that. We hose it down, we leave it out in the sun. Yes, we do all of that.
It's okay, that's my excuse not to put away the schach before Hanukkah. It's still drying. It's still drying.
Got 3 feet of snow, but you're drying it, Paris.
No, the easiest solution is if you build a permanent pergola and don't put on all the slats, so you can dump slats on top, and then you have basically a permanent sukkah that you only need to shake around the 2x4s. I don't know if that made any sense to anybody, but
I don't know. I hear. Didn't you have mats Elio for years sitting outside of your house?
I did, but I had to add because they would fall apart after a while.
Well, from the sun, from the heat.
From the sun. Here, I'll show you the. If I can.
Mine is permanent also.
Here, so you have permanent. What type of schach?
I have lath.
So this
permanent mats?
is
A bundle of lamps.
Icky, that's called a sewer grate for us New Yorkers.
No,
And
it's
they
my
survived
sukkah.
the
It's
Chicago
my sukkah.
winters.
Yaakov, we got to hear about the sukkah. My Chassidish partner.
I made a schach.
No, it
With the
fits.
schach because it's covered.
It fits. It fits two pieces of ripped 2x4 in between the permanent wood, which is what, right? I think you said this was okay. I hope so. That's how I built
That's
it.
what I have.
Paris, doesn't that look like an AC return?
No,
What is
that
that made out?
looks like the sewer line in the corner of the street that he stole and put it on top of
It's
his
my
house.
sukkah. It's like a 20 by 24 sukkah. I don't know what you
What
guys
is that
want
made
from
out
me.
of? Plastic? What's it made out of?
No, it's 2x4s. 2x4s.
I don't know, Icky. It looks like my AC return. I'll be honest
Is
with
it
you.
nailed down?
Yeah.
These are nailed.
down.
These are nailed down, and in between, I'm gonna put unnailed down ones. So it's rive.
Yeah.
It's rive open.
Yes, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. I'll come test out the sukkah on sukkahs, believe it.
Icky, where do you
You're
put the
invited.
filter in that?
Look, here's a porch, and here's my sukkah. I'm on the second floor. I don't know. You guys are driving me crazy.
I hear.
One second, Icky. How'd you do that crisscross like that?
How'd I do what?
The crisscrossing. I don't understand. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I'll go on the bottom. It's easier to see on the bottom, but it's.
I thought
nailing
it would be a problem.
I'll walk downstairs.
Oh, because you use it as one second.
I gotta sign off. I gotta
Icky,
sign off.
you use it as a sunroom a whole year?
Magazine.
Yeah, I'll walk downstairs. I'll show you.
Can I call?
Shikaya.
One second, Icky, you use it as a sunroom a whole year?
It's not. No. It's a pergola. It's out. It's a patio. So part of my patio is covered, and part of my patio is not covered. So the not covered part I built as a permanent sukkah.
And what do you do? How do you move it around every year, Yom Tov?
I don't. Well, I just moved in. This is a new house. So I just moved in a month ago. But what Tiago told me to do is I can make it. I'll show you.
By the way, there's everybody.
But you're going to put it
still,
between. Will be good.
It's still daylight in Phoenix, by the way. But okay, go ahead.
No. So it's permanent, right? This is my not cleaned up patio, right? So this part is covered, and this part is not covered. So right of it is not nailed in. So all these are nailed and screwed together. It's in the house. It's all permanent as it is right now. And then in between, there's rive air right now, right?
Right.
So
okay.
I can put. So I'm going to lay down a ripped 2x4, right? A 2x2 instead of a 2x4. In two of them in each empty space here, all the way down, which is kosher schach. So it's rive kosher schach.
And that's fine?
That's what he's 100%. That's what he just said. Yeah.
Really?
I showed him the plans before I did it. That's yeah. And then it's the whole
where's
thing.
your 2.5 walls, Icky? We go backwards.
No. So I need walls. So I have one wall there, and I have a half a wall here.
Okay, you're missing another wall and a half.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put stuff up in between here. I'm going to put walls in between that wall.
Uh-huh.
And then that's it. And then the fans and good to go.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
You'll need air conditioning.
He has a ceiling fan there.
Yeah.
Right.
I have ceiling fans. I have ceiling fans. The air conditioning doesn't do anything.
Icky, you want to hear this? Icky, my partner in Muncie. I have a guy as a partner in Muncie. So
Yeah.
He just built the new house. Okay. Paris, listen to what he did. He made 8-foot walls on his deck. Okay. At the 4-foot marker, they're all on hinges. Okay. So halfway down, the walls fold, and he leaves them folded down a whole year. Come sukkah's time, he folds the walls up, and his sukkah's there.
My brother-in-law did that when his deck.
Yeah. I never saw it before. I thought it was genius.
Yeah, until it gets rusty.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But hello, I thought that was so cool. It was so innovative, I thought. Sort of like Icky's idea.
Yeah, I know. I did this in my last house. I did the same thing in my old place. So I mean, this one's a little more expanded. So it worked out. The last one I had the same sukkah, but I dumped mats on top. But the mats, whatever, it was just a big headache. I would have to climb up there every year. They're a mess. They're a complete mess. And I left them up there. So it was even bigger mess. So when I did it this time, someone else, a friend of mine here asked Yaakov when he was out here one year about this. And they built basically a very similar thing to what I have. And he said it was totally fine. So when I did it, when I built this house, whatever.
Very cool.
It's going to be a pain, though. It's going to be a lot of work, I think, to put up the boards up on top. every
But I'm
year.
not going to take them down. It's a
Are you
one-shot
gonna leave them
deal.
up?
Yeah, I'm going to leave them up. That's it. I'm not going to take them down. Once they're up,
Mickey, if you want to go to Chatchila, you can throw a mat up there too.
I'm not. No, I'm not. The price of lumber is high enough. I'm not buying mats. You know. Well,
So
but everyone's invited. Whoever wants to come is invited to come.
What I have in my house, it gets windy in Chicago, and they were flying all over the place. So I put on top of the lath a 1x, and I screwed them down to the very end.
Oh, that's smart.
They sit up there the whole year round. So I just have to move them around, and I'm good to go.
Right. Yeah. That's the same idea here in New York. My father does that. He lowers it down into the walls of the sukkah, so the wall's protected.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
All right.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
See you in the morning.
Bye-bye.